Hi everyone, welcome to Here for the Hell of It podcast. We have a great show. We have Beth, Eiser, and Kelsey Caskey from Spruce Strategies, and we talk about all things social media. They talk about some of their clients and what it's like to actually grow social media in a service-based business. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. I'm Dr. Randy here with Dr. Tom, as always, and we have a great show for you guys. Appreciate everyone that's been going to our social media and following us and liking our posts. I have people come up to me all the time and talk about it. And then if you are listening on Spotify or podcast, if you'd be willing to give us a review, that'd be great. That's how people find us. That's how we get, I think, is it impressions? Is that what they talk about?
I don't know.
I think they like it when people review our podcast, I think, but we're going to hear more about that. So we have two business partners today. We have Beth, Eiser, and Kelsey Caskey. And you guys have Spruce Strategies, which is social media coaching, consulting.
All the above.
All the above. You do everything.
Management.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So tell us exactly what you do and how you fell into this.
Exactly what you do.
I want specifically what you do.
Eye contact was intense. So yeah, we started, we'll go back to like 2018, 2019. So we've been doing this 5 or 6 years now. And Beth and I were both starting to do.
You got to be more in the mic.
Here he goes.
Okay, already. No, it's good. Good feedback.
Let's pull it up a little bit.
There we go.
That's good. There we go. Now I can hear you.
Okay. We started in 2018, 2019. It was initially just kind of marketing consulting, helping small businesses with their marketing. So I didn't have a marketing director, but just needed some like in-house help, someone to just come take a look at everything. And then really during COVID, everybody needed help with social. And that's kind of where we like niched down. And it's also just what we loved the most, what we were good at. And so that's kind of where Spruce Strategies really grew and started. But yeah, we help mostly service-based businesses with their social media management, marketing. We'll consult, help with strategy, content, things like that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's pretty much us in a nutshell.
So who was your first person that you reached out to or that reached out to you?
Oh, first client we worked with back in the day together. The first one was probably Saluta's restaurant.
Oh,
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's a great restaurant in Five Points.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
Okay. And what did that look like? They're like, hey, our social media sucks.
No,
You seem like a person who would be able to help us with that.
Yeah, no. Steve, the owner, just really saw the value of what social was doing for restaurants at the time. And he was just doing what a lot of people did kind of at that time, which was have their hostess do it or have random people that worked for him do it. And when that happens, a lot of times it's just not consistent.
Right.
Some people can throw a post up, but it's just, there's no strategy behind it, things like that. So, we just came in and did some photo shoots for him consistently. And then we're posting every single month. And within the year, he had come back to us and said that his restaurant has never been fuller. They had booked out reservations. Their like private events and everything were booked out months in advance for Christmas. So, and especially during COVID. So the following year was when COVID hit, and they really relied on social as a form of communication for like how to get the word out about what they were doing, how to, place orders and how you could still support them. So
Yeah, they were one of the first restaurants in the Columbia area who offered the takeout option, especially for fine dining during COVID, which I think really set them apart because, the restaurants that were already doing to-go orders were set up for success. But a lot of these nicer, more upscale restaurants, it's all about the experience of going there. Mm-hmm. So I think he was really ahead of the curve of, hey, let's offer the Saluta's experience at home. And he would, include a bottle of wine with your order. And the only way to get the word out about that at the time was through social media. So he really kind of pioneered that push of having, keeping fine dining alive during COVID when you couldn't go out and eat anywhere.
Yeah.
And lots of people want to get their social media followers into their email list, right? That I've heard that that's one of the strategies is you go from a platform that you don't really control, but you have followers, to an email list that you do control. Is that a thing?
It's definitely a thing.
Because I don't think we do that too much.
We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing most of the time.
No, that's okay. Y'all do a great job.
If you think about like the traditional marketing funnel, social media is often at like the very top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
It's like your first touch point where people are finding out about you. And it's like the new website, I think, in 2024, because especially with, the highlight bubbles, you can, treat each highlight bubble like a page on your website.
Yeah.
They can find out about who you are, who is involved in your business or company, what services you offer, and you can have it all like in one, concise page, essentially, again, like a website. And I think like the younger generations, they aren't going to Google and searching, your business. They're going to Instagram and TikTok and searching your business.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Columbia Family Chiropractic, with 3 easy-to-get-to locations, one in Forest Acres, which is by Trader Joe's, one in O'Neill Court by the DMV, and one in the Northeast by Sand Hills. You'll be sure to have somewhere near you. They offer a ton of services from corrective care, on-site digital x-rays, spinal decompression for bulging or herniated discs, dry needling for injuries, pediatric care, and a Class 4 laser. They accept all your major insurances. And if you mention this ad, you'll get a discount on your first appointment. Check out their website at cfc4health.com or Google Columbia Family Chiropractic. That's cfc4health.com. Definitely.
So it's definitely, it's the first touch point. And then if you gain that follower or, the loyalty of the audience that you're like building in the community that you're growing on social media, then, they're going to be more likely to come back to you and use their services whenever they're ready. Because, for example, someone might not be ready or looking for a chiropractor right away. But if they're, following you and what you do through like this podcast, through social media, like when they are ready, they're probably going to come and, book with you guys.
Get Randy's hands on them.
Exactly.
Well, I do find that some people know me more than I realize. Like I'll meet with a new person. I'll be like, "Oh, are you the husband?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my wife's here. My wife is
That's
adjusting here as
People
well."
know me.
But in a good, a good way, where
yeah.
they're already a little bit warmed up to what we do and who we are. So I
Exactly.
do like that component of it. But I also feel like Instagram just gets to decide who sees what randomly.
Yeah, I think traditionally in marketing, an email list has been the most valuable piece at the end of the day because it's what you own. It's exactly what you were saying. Major corporations can then sell that email list, so it then becomes, financially valuable. But yeah, it's the only really piece that you own. We do stuff with email lists when we typically work with like a marketing manager at a company that is kind of managing the overall marketing strategy and all the different touch points that Beth was saying about how are we reaching people in all of these different areas, whereas social is social can get people to your email list.
Yep. But you don't know that they're going to see your stuff. You could post something and 100 of your 2,000 followers will see it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where, the
strategy
that we are sitting in every day, all day, really comes in.
Yeah.
And what kind of content you're posting, whether that's, a feed post, where you're posting it, which social platform, what, as far as like video now is obviously essential on social media, where that was not the case when we first got into social media. It was, Instagram was just photos. But then TikTok, again, during the pandemic, came in and changed that. And now video is something we include for all of our clients. And we have to include it. We don't take any clients who just want to do, photos and social media.
Really?
Yes. Because
Have you had anyone that you just had to say no?
Definitely.
They're like, I refuse to have videos. What?
Well,
Just because they don't want to be
it's
on
more
them.
expensive.
Yeah,
It's
Oh,
more
they don't want to
expensive.
be. Okay.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
then that's another problem where they say yes to videos, but then also don't want to be on
In 'em,
video,
yeah.
which is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, especially in, today's creator-driven content. You want to, get on social media and be entertained, be informed, or see something that you want to share with someone else. And so it's interesting because from our perspective, when we're looking at, marketing a business, we don't want to, have social media feel like you're being, sold to. You don't want it to feel like an advertisement. So how do you create that authentic, like creator vibe that it's providing value for the viewer, and then they're eventually going to want to buy your product or take up your service. So it's a game that we have to
Yeah.
play where, you have to keep up with the trends, and see if a certain trend is on brand for your particular business, or how you can, make it on brand and feel authentic for your business. So it's definitely a balance between like trying not to feel too trendy and to like, oh, we're just, doing what the cool kids are doing, because that can also feel really corny, especially for like a more buttoned up conservative business, which we have some of those too. But then also not just constantly selling, because that's, I think, where it gets, it really turns people off when every single post that a business is putting out is just, off. This is what we're offering. This is our product constantly. That can have, the opposite effect too, and be really off-putting. So it's definitely a balancing game where you're having to figure out, how much just pure entertainment content you're offering, how many posts you want to do just kind of on brand awareness, the get to know you post, and then how much you're talking about your services or products and kind of selling.
Well, so what's your ideal like method or strategy on where you bring somebody from the cloud to like the store or the place? Is it certain platforms? Is it certain, I don't even, like Google ads?
Like, what is the customer journey?
Yeah,
look
like how does that journey
On
get?
social?
Yes.
So something that we share with our clients that I guess like it's newer about, again, with the reels, right? Is right now you don't have to actually be following someone to see their content. Oh. And so we're seeing follower counts, like usually we could grow a follower count pretty quickly to, whatever the follower count goal was for the client. That's just not as important anymore. Because if you think about your Reels feed and you're scrolling through your Reels on Instagram, it's a bunch of people you're not following. You'll probably also see the people that you're following sometimes, but just as many. It's just the ones that the algorithm is saying, hey, this is probably something you're going to be interested in based on what you're already interacting with, liking, sharing with your friends. So really like our biggest strategy now is not necessarily speaking to our followers or trying to grow this really targeted follower base of potential customers, but how can we tell the algorithm with your content, like what we're putting out, to put the videos in front of the right people who could be interested in your services, and then get them, what's the call to action, like to your website, to book a phone call with you, sometimes to follow you, but that's no longer the goal. Is to get a bunch of followers anymore. People aren't clicking the follow button. It's totally different than it was 5 years ago.
And follows don't always translate to sales, which I think is what you're talking about too, right? So like, how do you get this like large audience of 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 followers to actually like walk in the door of your business?
Right.
And that's just the game that everybody's playing. But at the same time, when we sit down with you at the very beginning, that whole strategy that Beth just talked about is going to change based on who your target audience is, like what's their age group, like what's their gender, what phase are they potentially already in, like how much trust do you already have online, or are we gonna have to spend the first 6 months kind of like building that initial...
Showing the social proof.
Yes, exactly.
That's what we call it. Yeah.
So there's a lot that kind of depends on, like changes the messaging that we create based on where you currently are.
And are there platforms that you guys just love? Like what are your go-to platforms? And are there weird ones that nobody knows about? Like Nextdoor was like one that I didn't hear about for a long time, but I was like, oh, people are going on there and finding.
It was massive.
That's for the neighborhood tea.
Yeah.
But people go on there and say, hey, I'm looking for a new restaurant. I'm looking for a landscaper. I'm looking for a chiropractor.
Someone to walk my cat. Like it's just.
Those referrals are huge. Yeah. No, they're super important. If you have the manpower in your business to have somebody monitoring that, then that's amazing.
Right.
Otherwise, we tell our businesses to generally focus on 2 platforms and do them really well. That's typically our standard recommendation. It varies, again, based on who your audience is. Are you trying to get more like 55-year-old women in here? Or are you kind of looking for
spot on.
All the USC college students?
Divorced women, specifically. We
Stay
do
on
well
Facebook.
with that audience.
They're on Facebook.
They're
then.
activated. Yeah.
So what are the 2 big ones, I guess?
Most often for our clients, I mean, it's always Instagram.
Instagram is number 1 for sure.
And that's simply because the largest demographic, from anyone from like college students up to people who are older than our grandparents.
Yeah.
Are on Instagram
No
now.
kidding.
Facebook also goes hand in hand with Instagram. We would have said probably 3 years ago, oh, Facebook's like for an older demographic, but that's still true. Like our parents are on Facebook. But then like we also use Facebook, I'd say millennials and, younger, as a way to get information and see what events are going
New
on.
developments, events. Yeah.
I want to be cautious of saying news because obviously there, that's a hot button issue of should you get your news from social media?
I love getting my news there.
Exactly. But it's where like if you want to know, for example, like if a restaurant, going back to restaurants, but if they have an event for Labor Day coming up, you're probably going to like look at their Facebook page, see if they posted, an event, right? Like it's where you're going to find information.
Yeah.
We have certain clients who have done surveys and said that their audience finds information like as far as developments, news from Facebook. And so people are telling us that they want to find their news from Facebook. So when we take into like, for example, we run the Main Street District, their Instagram, social media, we make sure that we're posting any like development updates. Say they have a new business opening, new boutique, we're posting that article to Facebook, and that'll typically get a ton of engagement because people are wanting to find that news there.
I think that Facebook news is probably more reliable than mainstream news.
Sometimes.
I generally feel like I could watch the news and get lied to, and I know they're lying, or I could go to Facebook and then try to figure out
Coin
if
flip.
they're lying.
They built that trust factor for you. Yeah, right?
I guess. Yeah, I think the worst of both worlds is like some of the local media Facebook pages that it's all about the clickbait article titles.
Yeah.
I mean, you know
Worst.
exactly what I'm
It
talking
is.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to be selective with what you're interacting
Yeah.
with, because then when you interact with those types of articles, that's your entire Facebook feed, right?
And Facebook has 70-something-year-olds. Like my father-in-law's in his 70s.
And they'll believe anything.
Yeah.
that's
And-
posted
well,
on
they do-
Facebook.
They send it to you too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they get down a rabbit hole. They're not used to the logorithm, how it just
Yeah,
funnels you
oh.
what you want.
Yeah.
A logarithm.
Logarithm,
We're
I
calling
like
it
that.
Logarithm. But
Rebranding.
so two funny things about that. One, he always gets on there every morning at 5 a.m. and then wishes happy birthday to everybody whose birthday it is.
Everyone.
And earlier this year, he was at our house during my wife's birthday, and they were in the kitchen at the same time, and he sent her a Facebook happy birthday in the kitchen, standing
very
5
endearing.
5 feet
It
from her.
is. It's that like Hallmark card generation.
It was
that
so
they're like,
funny.
We have to send it.
It was just important to him
Yeah.
to make sure that every
He
single
also,
person gets a
wished
happy
that
birthday.
happy birthday through Facebook.
And then he just actually bought a golf club off of Facebook for, I think, his first time. So even
Marketplace.
70s. No, it was an ad.
Oh, just like a
A
random
straight
guy.
up ad to
Wow.
make your...
Oh.
I don't know
That's
what it was.
huge.
If it was it was just a more forgiving club, I think. Which we're not going to talk about golf because our reviews say that we do too much. But that was
Here we are.
that was honestly like I looked at him and thought, I didn't know that people in their 70s are buying Facebook ads, but it's
Shopping.
happening.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. That's good market research for us.
No, I know, definitely. My parents live down in the Villages in Florida. Are y'all familiar
Oh
with those?
God, do they use loofahs?
They, I hope
they have
not. They
have
take
you
them
been to
down
their
when I go
house?
visit. So let's.
Mom, can I borrow a loofah that you have
no,
here
no,
on your
no.
golf
We
cart?
don't use those there. But they have a like electric bike shop down there, and so
Yeah.
our goal with working with them with ads was all on Facebook. But we were targeting people.
Right.
In order to live there, you have to be 55 and older. And so most of the people coming to shop online, whether they saw an ad online or not, were all probably mid 70s.
Wow.
It's wild.
So when you have a client, do you orchestrate, like, do you guys, do you have a whiteboard? And how big is it?
Oh my gosh, we don't.
No.
We don't have a
What?
whiteboard.
We don't have an office.
Where do you guys strategize? What do you do? Where do you write stuff that gets in your brain that's stuck?
So I work on my phone almost exclusively.
Not
Like,
even
I don't
iPad?
even work. No, not even my
Wow.
laptop or anything. I think it's just because I started as a social media manager, like in the day to day, like posting from
Gotcha.
my phone. And I've never gotten out of that work structure for me. So if I pull out my laptop,
Like Apple Notes?
if I pull out my
What
laptop,
do you-
yeah. So
Oh,
I
really?
use notes, and then we also, we have a Google Drive internally. But I will pull out my laptop once or twice a week to do like my computer work. But other than that, I am in the apps every day just from my phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
And our office setup is completely virtual. Again, this kind of we had explored getting a co-working space or finding an office. But then during the pandemic, the whole huge remote shift happened. And we started working with contractors outside of Columbia. And so now we have team members in Alabama, Charleston, Charlotte. Yeah, it's pretty much just, I guess, the two of us here in Columbia now, plus interns. But we, work from our phones. We video call. Kelsey and I will get together in person and go to coffee shops, or we'll be on site for clients.
Do you guys have set meetings?
We do. Yes.
When are they?
Very religious about our Monday morning meetings, usually during this time currently.
Oh, nice. We're having it now.
Yes, this is
Great.
our Monday
Rolling the
morning.
whiteboard.
Yeah.
Okay, so nice. Like you start the week with a meeting. Then
And that's a whole team-wide meeting. So our contractors, who are working on different clients, and we'll go through and we'll start off with like a social tip of the week. So we followed a couple of different digital blogs that, again, like you have to be following all of the updates because it happens so rapidly that Meta or Instagram will come down and say, this is the most important analytic to pay attention to, or the most important metric that you need to be focusing on for your social media to work and for us to show it to people. So we'll go through that, and then we'll say, okay, how can we apply this to our different clients? And then we'll go client by client and go through any updates. We'll talk about any trends we could apply for them if it would make sense. We have monthly client calls, so we'll talk about, if we need to do anything to prep for that client call. And at the end, I'd say Mondays is kind of like our debrief where we're looking at what content we have going out that week for clients, and we're saying, how can we make it better? Based on whatever's working on social that week, because it truly does change week to week. So while we typically will plan out a month's worth of content for a client at a time, we leave room for trends that are happening or news or developments in that business. B, we're constantly flipping what that content looks like. Like we'll change, for example, a reel. We'll take a reel, and this week we were like, Instagram is pushing out carousels because they just updated where they can have up to 20 photo or video carousel slides for Instagram. And it's showing up in your Reels feed if you add an audio. So we are shifting our content to make sure, especially when Instagram drops an update, they want you to use it. They want you to test out their newest feature, and that way, more people are going to see that content. So we want to make sure our clients are the ones who are testing that out and getting those extra impressions or engagements from that. That's what they're paying us to be on top of.
So do you guys storyboard it all? Like orchestrate a shoot, let's say.
So we have some clients where we are, they're in-house content creation, and we work with a couple of different content creators, whether it's here in Columbia or on site in their city. And then we have some clients who already have, professional library of video and photo content built out for us, and we take that and convert it into, the reel that you're seeing.
Gotcha. Have you found a general form that you guys love? Like, we're going to start with B-roll and a butterfly floating with light music, then flash the product or the
No, so really
She said no.
no, absolutely
I was
not.
thinking like a pharmaceutical commercial.
Right.
So we found especially, and again, it's in the now. This could change in 2 weeks, but really the less produced and less cinematic something is what's working. That's again the TikTok effect.
Yeah.
You want it to feel like it was filmed by you. And again, the popular trend right now, even with businesses, is like the B-roll footage. So you just filming yourself kind of going throughout your day. That's really what we have a lot of our business owners do and get in the practice of. And then we're taking those, natural in the moment videos and overlaying, whether it's in the caption or on screen, like text, like for an informational reel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give a good example for y'all. It would, if you have a new, service or product, like your red light bed, is that correct? So we could maybe have a day in the life of you working. You're like filming you getting up, and then you're working all day. And then maybe before you leave the office, you're going in for 20 minutes to the red light therapy bed.
Just getting naked and undressed.
Exactly. Yes. We want to
I
see
think that would
everything.
kill.
Raw content.
Yes.
But we're overlaying, like,
Yeah.
as you're watching just someone, go throughout their day.
Right.
That's what people like to see. We're overlaying, like, the facts of the benefits of red light therapy.
Who it's good for. Yeah.
Nice.
Relate to it.
But really, the more overproduced, the content is, I mean, it depends. But that's what turns people off and feels
Right.
more like an advertisement.
an ad.
And
Yeah.
people
Yes.
want to see the authentic kind of behind the scenes.
I
MS.
just heard someone say we're in the attention economy right now, but we're moving into the authenticity economy.
Yes.
Ooh.
Because there's going to be so much AI
Mm-hmm.
that anything that's not AI is going to be attractive, and anything that's
right.
AI we're going to try to avoid,
Yeah.
which is true.
Yeah.
Anything
Avoid.
that's AI weirds me out.
I know it's kind of scary.
It is scary, and especially, people who work in the digital space and social media space, because there's, the potential for jobs to be taken away or, content that's being created by AI. But I think, again, adding that human authenticity value, that's never going to be able to, be taken from you by a robot. And
Right.
so that keeps me going every day. Right. But also as someone who, works with people who, write Instagram captions every day, and like, sure, there's, a million different chat GPT prompts you could use to write an Instagram caption for you. And we're not shying away from that. Like, we're definitely experimenting with having chat GPT help us make our clients' content better, whether it's like auditing, content for us from a previous month, coming up with a list of like hooks that are very like niche specific. It actually is a tool that, we want to not be afraid of, is that is, we're going in that direction. And it's about knowing how to use it and using it well, and then also knowing how to, put it in your client's voice so it doesn't sound like a robot is talking to you.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid of AI. I'm excited about it. I think it's cool to experiment with it right now, but there's no playbook. There's no like, here's how you use
Brand
AI
new.
for your business social
Yes.
media. So we like play around with it every week, and it's kind of fun.
And I don't think the jobs are going to disappear. I know that people were saying that about when we got cars, all the people on horses are going to lose their jobs. And then when we got email, all
The
the
poor
letter
horse
carriers
people.
are going to lose their jobs. And like,
That's the example.
Yeah.
well, you would have to ride a
The poor
horse to
equestrians.
deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big horse guy. But I just don't see it happen. I see right now I think there's a shortage of people who can do the things that need to be done, especially in this space, the social media space. A lot of people don't know what they're doing, or they're younger and they don't have the experience, or they're older and they have the experience, but they're not interested in doing
I think
it.
the biggest thing too is the amount of time it takes to run a social media page well.
Ooh, talk about that.
I mean, it is. We always say it's running a social media page is multiple jobs in one. And I think that in the past couple of years, it's almost been like the death of the single in-house social media manager. Or if you're marketing manager before, in a marketing manager, marketing director job posting, social media was, one part of that job. It's either someone's full-time job, but honestly, between content creation, posting every day, strategy, looking at the analytics, it's multiple specialized jobs. And that's, what our agency is compromised of, is we work with the best in each of those areas. And, for the cost of less than hiring someone as a marketing director, marketing manager, social media manager, you're getting the specialized, like, top of their game in
3 or 4
analytics
people.
content, running your social media channel. And that's really what our mission is to make sure that, these companies are getting the best online presence that they can, and social media isn't an afterthought or squeezed into someone's day. Because truly, I think, for most of our clients, we're spending combined as a team at least 2 to 3 hours a day, depending on their scope of work on social media. And that could be realistic for marketing manager, but is this marketing manager you have in house someone who specializes in video? And, is this also someone who specializes in copywriting?
Long-term strategy and
Yeah,
short-term,
long-term strategy. Are they in social media every day? Probably not. So it's something that we saw a lot of businesses struggling with, because they were like, we can't, hire, copywriter, strategist, professional videographer, photographer. And that's how we're building our team right now.
Or the other thing, you mentioned a lot of younger people coming in that might seem really adept at social media because they're posting a lot or they're really trendy. They might have a lot of followers, but translating that skill, this is something we've had to learn through interns, translating that skill into being able to do it for a business is so different, right?
Yes.
And just being able to hear all these businesses' stories and like watching the customer journey for so many people, that's kind of one of the things that we've learned to kind of, and we're still evolving and learning how to marry those two. Then that's why we have a team of people kind of working on it together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We've been down that road for
Yeah,
a few
yeah,
horror
yeah.
stories.
Everyone's
I
been
think
down
everyone
the
has,
road.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. The thing we probably like to hear least on a potential new client call is, oh yeah, we have an intern running our social media right now.
Yeah.
Red flag.
We had one
That
make
is,
our
it's
whole
a big red
website.
flag.
I think we had a
It
high
makes
school
sense.
intern make our whole website once. It was a mess.
I mean, we've
Everybody learns the
we've
hard
been
way
there.
at
Yeah,
something.
we've been
Yeah,
there.
totally.
Yeah, but I think a lot of times it's like that's like the easy intern job for some businesses. It's like, oh, we'll just have the intern run the social media. They're young, they know what they're doing.
right.
But also, I think that's a massive waste of time, because does this 20-year-old college intern know how to turn social media views into sales for your business?
Right.
Right. And that's what ends up
That's what's always hard
us
to know.
hard for us to sell.
Yeah.
To sell, because, that happens to people and then they're like, social media doesn't really work. Or, they get that kind of like,
Bad taste in their mouth.
taste
Yeah,
in
like
their
this
mouth
is a waste
about
of
it.
time. Yeah.
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 Why? So how do you guys find these contractors? Like, how do you niche it out? What website? Like, is this just Indeed? You guys are.
A lot of it's just through relationships that we built.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We actually
Like local or
local.
And
So
online.
yeah, local. And so we actually found one of the social media managers, as far as this is the person that's like writing the content calendar. They're posting every day. That's what we would consider a social media manager for a client. Through a job posting on Instagram, she just reached out. I mean, that was
I think that's how most of them end
Yeah.
up coming to us.
Yeah.
Is we'll post something on our Instagram, and whether it's that person that's reaching out to us or their friend is sending it to them saying, hey, you need to apply to this company, or vice versa. That's how the
that's the
girl
best
in
social
Alabama.
proof there is. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, we found Emily, who's worked with us now for a couple of years, as a social media manager. Just she had a friend send her one of our posts that we were hiring, and she was a mom who also had a blog on the side and was doing like some influencer work in the blog, but had been out of the traditional workforce for a few years.
Yeah.
But she had young kids. She was looking to re-enter it, and she had this social media, posting experience and blogging, copywriting experience, but hadn't done that in a professional setting. And she was like, I really want you guys to take a chance on me and show me the ropes as far as doing this for businesses. So I think I offer a lot of creative, value from doing this for myself. And she's been one of our greatest success stories as far as getting clients results.
nice.
I feel like I can usually tell when I get an email. Like we really don't even look at resumes when people apply. Like
You just
really,
creep,
it doesn't
you just
tell
creep
me
on
anything.
their social media accounts.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
show me your work, and then I can usually tell what their level of professionalism by their response time and their emailing and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, I want to see what pages, like what content.
Right.
You've
Yeah,
created
what have
and
you
then-
actually, and what if you've done it for a business before too?
Sure.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's a
huge.
different ball game for sure.
Why did you guys choose service-based as your niche? Like, have you done any
It
product?
chose us.
It chose us. Service-based businesses.
And some people ask us, what does that mean? So what does that mean, Kelsey?
Service-based
God.
business.
She put you right
Oh,
on the
right
spot.
on the
No,
spot.
gosh, I don't know
Did
if
you
I
guys prep
define this
prep
into
this
words.
ahead of time?
A service-based business, and I would add in their tourism type businesses too. Anything that is when you're providing a service to a client, that sounds so like that. Sounds
Yeah,
very
it's
basic,
textbook. That's
but
textbook.
something that you can also do on a consistent basis. It's opposite of selling an actual product
yeah.
online, right?
Yeah.
It typically is a longer customer journey.
Like you guys are a service-based into
Yeah,
We are,
exactly.
yeah.
a
We are
company.
travel planners.
Yeah.
Service-based businesses also have a higher or customer acquisition cost. And so we've found that just kind of what we are able to offer and the price at what we offer it makes the most sense for kind of that
Yep.
that niche.
All right. So let me ask you a question about individual branding. This is a different. So
He's a number 3 influencer. Let me preface.
Oh
this,
yeah,
I
let him
think.
know first.
He's a number 3 influencer in Colombia right now.
According to
Voted.
The
Columbia
Free
Free
Times.
Times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now
Congratulations.
he has 239
Yeah, congrats
followers.
on winning for the
Yeah,
podcast.
Matt,
thank you.
That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes. So that was a big week.
Congratulations.
Podcast and social media influencer.
I mean, how is your hat fitting right now?
I know. And my wife's the most impressed. Every day she just keeps telling me like what a great influencer I am,
Right.
and how
Notes
amazing I
out.
am. But we had a marketing company that we worked with about a year ago when we were just getting ready for our 3rd location, and we didn't really know what we were doing. And they basically told me, you need a public Instagram profile. It's you're just not allowed to not have one. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to like weirdos looking at my kids, and like so I wanted to be like more private, but then also had to have my kind of public thing. So I have almost like one where I just have only my family members follow that.
A private
almost.
account.
Yes.
Yep.
A Fensta. It's
go-
not
I'm gonna
actually
go
a
find it.
Fensta, but it's just my
Kelsey
name.
and I are
It's,
gonna go find it.
it's literally just my name. It's not a fake Insta. It's
Correct.
just
It's
my
a private.
name. It's a private one.
Friends and family.
And then I have my other one, which I would consider like my business one, that I follow people and I share and like funny stuff and kind of be
Engage,
myself. Yeah. But then Tom's strategy is different, where he's more just like himself. He just has one, and just anything that happens himself, and like a little I would say he's a little looser on
What I
just
put
like
out
whatever he wants, whatever feels good, he just does it. So
Maybe
like
he should be
high
the
authenticity.
top 3.
High on the authenticity.
should.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
high on the authenticity.
Give him a run.
But
for his money.
here's the thing: it's just people voted for what they wanted. And that's how I got it.
He has
Prove it. Yeah, your
100
proven
family
strategy.
members that put in votes.
But so it was funny because my argument was I'm actually like an in-person social media influencer because
Because he convinces
I
people
convince
in person.
people in
Honor to
person to
be
vote
here.
for me online.
Yes.
But I also
New
found
category
But
next year.
Tom's strategy too is just he tells people go follow me on Instagram.
You're going to like what you see. Just follow it.
Oh yeah,
That's
Right.
tell
That's
so we went to the Columbia Free Times party,
boy.
Best of Columbia party, and because we were.
Did you get recognized?
Well,
we were
everybody
massive.
knew who we were.
Right. That is
Massive.
Actually, and honestly, my wife was like, "You know everybody here," and she doesn't really know anyone. And I was like, "It's social media influence."
Number 3. Number
That's
3
why
in
I'm
the
married.
city.
I'm
But-
a celebrity.
But there was a guy. He was the chef for, I think, Dragon
Red
something.
Dragon,
Red
the
Dragon.
Dragon Room.
And he like told Tom, he's like, "You just quit telling me and my girlfriend to follow you on Instagram. Don't tell me that
There's
again."
more to that. There's more to that.
It's too much.
So I was blackout during this.
Right. As
I
you
had
should
no-
be at the free time.
Yeah,
Best
I
of
fell
friends.
down. He told me I fell down the stairs. I lost my hat.
Were y'all in chaps, either of you?
I was in jean shorts.
Okay, even
Well,
better.
no, but I did help someone whose chaps were falling down.
Oh no.
And that's how we cracked the case. I lost my hat that day.
Okay.
I ended up with two people's other hats on my head getting into the Uber.
I think
And
he got
wrecked-
drugged. I think you might have got
might have.
drugged because it
There
was,
were
you know,
just
when you're like,
moments
everyone
that
has,
were
yeah.
gone,
yeah.
oblivious. And so I realized in the Uber, I'm like, where's my hat? I just got this nice Stetson hat. I jump out of the Uber. He jumps out too because he knew I was toast.
We had to find this.
I run back, everybody's kind of gone, and I'm just like depressed. I'm like, where is this? I'm just sitting there, and it's raining. Hat's gone. Long story short, I have to tell my wife this the next day because she went home early, and then we go on a journey on social media to try to seek this out. He sends photos. We're looking at timestamps. 4 or 5 different other people like find me in the background. He's pulling up a guy's chaps. We see me with my hat on, and I'm talking to this
This
guy.
is amazing.
We posted. Our other friend Javier, who runs Ratio, he's like, I think that's Chef Alex. Gives me his number. Text him. He has my hat.
Jeez.
I meet up with him. I'm like, dude, what happened? Like, he's like, I have no clue. He's like, the thing I remember was you were shouting at me and my girlfriend about vaccines and following you on Instagram. And I was like, that sounds right.
That's quite the
Kind of
strategy.
believable.
I was like, okay, so then you don't know either. But I got my hat back. It was funny.
That's amazing that you were able to do that.
It was unreal.
And one of the most exciting moments we've had too was at our friend's house, and they had a bartender that they had hired, and Tom hit 999 followers. I think the bartender was like, follow me. He hits it's 999, and then he convinces another guy. He probably got 15 followers just
Just for
walking
following.
around like, are you following me yet?
That's
Got
a
the
really
number.
good
This is a strategy
Word of
we've
mouth.
never thought of.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
an in-person
Start telling
social
people to
media
follow you.
influencer.
It's
Yeah.
a whole new category next year for
Right.
Randy.
That's a whole nother layer of authenticity, you know?
New
Yeah.
secrets.
And aggression.
Yeah.
Be aggressive.
Aggressive strategy.
All right. So what are some of the
Sidebar. We got to recover.
Sidebar.
Yeah, we got to get back
What do you
into
have on your
what are-
notepad here?
The free times was fun.
what are some of the social media secrets or myths that you guys have seen, or that maybe other marketing agencies tell you to do that you shouldn't do? What kind of is there any sauce in there for us? Soy sauce.
Okay, so there's people all over social, and we talk about this all the time, that are now selling things. They're all selling like how to go viral, how to get this many followers in this many days, and most of the time, like, we just kind of roll our eyes when we see that kind of thing. There's probably some truths in there from time to time, but that's probably
Or maybe, something worked for them, but it's not going to,
it's not
Doesn't
translated.
you're never
Yeah.
going to duplicate someone's exact results.
Yeah.
Just because they went viral and gained 300,
Right.
1,000 followers off of one reel.
Yeah.
That is a lot of luck.
That's what happened to our friend recently.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
one video and he jumped 4,000 followers,
Yeah.
something crazy. It hit 2 million
Yeah.
views. And it was in a grocery store showing a pickle jar.
Right. It's
It
the
doesn't make sense.
dumbest shit that will go viral and get you the hundreds of follows every time for our clients too. The stuff, so I was, sidebar again, recently in Italy, still posting for a client, but we took a family trip with my husbands and my toddler and my baby.
Did you say husbands?
Yeah, it sounded like
Husbands.
multiple
Plurals.
Husbands. Kelsey was there too.
I was also
Yeah, just kidding. I wish next time we'll take you. So we had one client that I refuse to let go because it's the client that we've had since we started, and I don't trust anyone else with it. So I still post for them basically every day. But we were sitting in an Uber, and I was like, oh, shit, I have to post for Main Street. I haven't posted in a couple of days. I threw together a reel with a video, 20-second video that I had in my phone from last year of inside of the arcade mall. This is for Main Street District.
Yeah.
Inside of the arcade mall, of people sitting down and eating lunch at Swanson's Deli, which if you know, you know.
Yeah.
But that reel went off. It has 130K views or something plus right now, but it got us 600 followers. And I put it together in 10 seconds in the back of an Uber. And I think the on-screen text was
It's been shared 1,000 times.
it's been
I
shared
feel like I've seen
2,000
that one.
times. Yeah. But
I think I've seen it.
there was zero zero thought put into it, literally. And that's
It's got to be irritating.
versus I will have, reels where the whole team collaborates on it. We spend a ton of time editing on it, and it'll
Right.
get 1,200
right.
views. But it truly is sometimes the last minute stuff that you put together that people will decide they like, or Instagram will decide to push out. As far as the strategy that goes into every single one of the pieces of content that we're posting, yes, we are always using a trending audio, typically that has below 1,000 uses. When you click on that little arrow or you click on the audio, you can see how many times the audio has been
really?
used. Yeah. So we're looking for, pro tip here, audios that have under 1,000 uses but are trending. It's called a pre-trending audio. Typically,
How do you know
Instagram
it's
will
trending? Does
push
it-
that up. You'll see a little
say
arrow
that?
next to it.
Oh.
Yeah. And that typically we've tested, A/B tested it, and Instagram will give you more impressions on
Nice.
videos with the pre-trending audios.
Next time you're
than
just
if you
like
pick a
scrolling,
random one.
Yeah.
just take a peek at the audios, even just look for the audios, and you'll see a few of them that have the little arrow by them.
And what's the arrow look like? Is it pointing up, down, sideways?
It's got like a little bend in it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, like a little lightning.
Influencer over here. I didn't know
that-
that.
you don't get to be the hottest-
that's
Yeah.
how you did it.
Influencer in
That's
Colombia.
how you did
That's a
it.
secret.
It's,
All right.
That's an
So there
interesting.
are like little,
Yeah.
touch points like that it's like a checklist of like, have we done all of this before we've posted a reel? If yes, then it's okay to post. But there's not some like secret formula to going viral that we
Right.
have and you don't have.
Right.
We have things that are going to help your
So I'd
content.
say your practice over the years, throwing something together in 20 seconds,
yeah.
definitely contributes.
Yeah.
That's
to
not
it.
the key. The
Right,
key isn't to
right,
do
right,
things
right.
in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So there's a bunch of people that try to hack things. They try to do a spelling mistake, or they spell someone's name wrong purposely, or they do something controversial so people keep commenting and sharing, and they get mad.
Yeah.
Is that a strategy that you've ever used? Upsetting people.
I'd say the real loops was kind of like a little trick for a little while.
Yeah. So every couple weeks there'll be a new little hack that you'll see where it's like a trend.
There's always
like,
something.
Yeah. What Kelsey just mentioned was there were these audios that were like 2 seconds, like a bell ding or something, and then the real loop
just keep replaying.
keep replaying, keep
yeah.
So
replaying.
it
So
looked like you got a million views
Because
when in
it's such a
reality it's
short-
just
it's so short.
Yes, I
and
saw
you're like,
that.
what was that? So it was more like distracting than anything, but you weren't really like watching that post 400
Yeah.
times because you liked it. It was more just because like, what the hell am I watching right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So there every couple of weeks there'll be something like that. Like, will we hop on it? Maybe if it makes sense for a client. But to go back to what you said, as far as like posting something controversial or purposeful spelling mistake or something, definitely we don't want to do anything that feels like inauthentic or
Slimy.
dishonest or
Yeah.
slimy. Yeah. But I think like on that wavelength, something that is really important, we're looking at like the different content pillars for all of our clients is like, how can you provide that emotional like pull that it's going to make people feel connected to you or, feel like like you do kind of have to keep people on their toes and surprise them and like show little parts of you that are emotional and authentic for people to really trust you and add value. And some of like, the best performing posts that we get is like when we'll have a client kind of like open up about like a tough experience they had
vulnerability
for work. Yeah, the vulnerability moments, like those do really well because people, they want to hear about that.
And
They
it
don't-
adds to the
yeah,
authenticity.
they don't want it to all
adds
be
the
like
trust.
sunshine, butterflies, rainbows. Like, look at like how many clients I got this month for my travel business.
That's
like,
Randy's whole profile. Just
Right.
model shots of himself.
Just me being
Oh, here he is on a yacht. Here he is on a yacht again.
Dave, well, do you know who Dave Portnoy is?
Yes.
I feel like he does the
President today.
controversial stuff
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah.
'Cause
And authentic. I mean,
yeah,
he's just,
authentic and
He,
controversial.
and
yes.
he like picks up other people that are going through all of it. Yeah,
Yes.
he's great at
Yeah,
it.
he does the good deeds, but if somebody wrongs him, he goes bananas.
yeah.
He has a champagne bottle with their name on it, and when they get
So
fired,
unapologetic. Yeah, I love
and
it.
it works for him. He's
Yeah.
figured out how to ride that line of you still like him, but he's being aggressive and rude and mean for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't know that line. I just
He just-
authentic photo.
It would,
at
it would,
the
your line is
Ritz-Carlton
only
again.
aggressive.
So relatable.
Here I am. Here's my food.
It feels
And the
authentic
bar.
for him. Yeah.
You're the one going around to people at the Ritz-Carlton bar telling them to follow you. Yeah.
Yep. Here, I got this new little. You're like tapping your phone against them, so your contact.
Here's my QR code.
Yeah, I wear my Instagram handle on shirts too. You just got to get it out.
Yeah,
there.
you do. You got to do that.
All
what you
right.
gotta do.
What does? See, I write as I go. Did you guys know that? Did you think
I figured that's what you were doing.
you saw the blank page beforehand?
Yeah.
No, I just saw
I
you
see
writing
what-
over there,
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm like, okay.
Sometimes I just
he's
scribble too.
spitballing here. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
You're the
my
ideas.
nervous thing is like, oh
Yeah.
god, I gotta. They're talking.
You're the brains. You're the looks. The
Brawn.
celebrity.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So, where was I? Oh, what does a That threw me off. When you said he was the did you say he's the looks? That threw me off a lot.
Yeah.
We got
You're the face.
You
You
could have
do the work.
Yes, exactly.
I'm
Tom's
the
the
worker.
behind the scene
I'm the worker.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I like
You just
this.
sip your coffee.
This is
and-
good.
Yeah, I used to,
This is-
so as I was having this coffee, do you think it's a red flag if a guy has anything other than black coffee?
I can't say anything because
What do
my
your husbands
husband
drink?
drinks like the caramel ribbon crunch.
He does?
Jesus.
It's like his.
Micah.
It is his. Like.
He's not going to be happy you're sharing that with the world.
Well, sorry.
Did you know? Did you know that
He's
before you got
unashamed.
married?
He loves a delicious like
Pumpkin
fruity
He's a
spice
little,
latte.
cocktail.
he's a little basic.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
likes.
He has his
yeah.
basic tendencies.
Does he
But-
like daiquiris?
Loves them.
Really?
Loves them. Like flour. Put a
That's
flour in
great.
the drink. He's
Your
like,
umbrella.
I want that one.
That's
The
And
The
you're like,
shark.
and you're drinking a Scotch. Hey, I'll just have a
Yeah.
shot of
No, that's
Scotch.
actually
A
accurate.
cigar
Like
and a
tequila
Scotch.
on the rocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what does a consult look like with you guys?
A consult.
Like, say there's a business. Say there's chiropractors out there
Yeah.
that are like, hey, let's just do a consult
Yeah.
to see how
That's a
you
good
would
fit.
promote. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. I do these often.
Yep.
Consults are fun. So a lot of it is just me asking questions.
In person, phone, Zoom.
Some of them are in person, but we have clients all over the state and elsewhere. So a lot of times they are on Zoom or over the phone too.
Yep.
Consults usually take, I usually plan 30 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes. There's a lot you can tell in just a short amount of time. But yeah, a consult is basically like, what are your initial goals? And I can usually tell if they're looking for, like, they need a full service or they need a full marketing plan, or they're just ready for someone to take over their
Right.
social media. I'm usually looking for, have they already invested in content before? Do they have a photographer, videographer? Do they have anything to kind of work with?
Professional branding,
yeah.
as far as logo, fonts, color library, all built out already.
Branding's huge.
Yeah.
And then after we kind of break down that, we're kind of looking at who their target audience is. And, logistics wise, like, how would this work and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Are they willing to be on camera?
Yeah. That's
Yes.
a big one.
We've added some more questions.
What do you have a list of services? Like if you were to chunk them into like here's the 7 things or 25 things or 3 things, like what would be the a la carte, or is there a la carte too? Like I want to do, you do website and
On our
OnlyFans
side?
on your guys' side. Yeah.
So,
Well, it's confusing. I think to his point, like it's confusing as a business owner talking to a social media person because we have
everybody's
no
lost.
clue what they're gonna
it's new.
say.
We do a lot of educating. So we try to make what we do as simple as possible. So we really have one main package that we like offer people because you can customize it slightly, but at the same time, like we know there's only really one thing that works. You can't really like
This is the VIP package.
deconstruct it.
Yeah, after doing this for 5 years, we figured out exactly what you need to be successful.
Like it wouldn't make sense for you guys to if somebody's like, just do Instagram, you guys would be like, well, that's
We
not.
could do it. What people ask is, okay, well, instead of doing 3 to 5 to 7 posts a week, can we just do one video a week? And that's when we have to say like, no, like this is not going to be successful for you.
Gotcha.
Whatever your goals that you told me at the beginning of getting, 20 new clients every single month, or 20 new leads every single month.
Yeah, you're not going to
like,
get that through 3 photo
Yeah.
posts a week.
Yeah.
So is that how you reverse engineer what services you would need to do? So like if the client was like, I want to bump up 20 new patients in a health industry, you guys would go, all right, that means we're going to need, 5 Instagram posts. We need a Google ad that does this. We need this website. We need to send out an email. Like in other words, are there all these little grabs in the marketing umbrella that you would kind of customize the strategy?
Yes and no. So ideally, we would lean on a marketing manager to make all of those
that.
decisions, right? We can help with the strategy for digital ads, social ads, and social media, but usually we're not going to make recommendations on whether or not you should do billboards in addition to what we're doing.
Gotcha.
So
Do you guys look at billboards
make
real
sense?
quick? Just in general, do you look at billboards? Like when you're
Yes,
driving?
I
because
think I
they're
do because we're
so
in marketing.
ugly.
I do too. But I do too.
I'm in marketing, and I'm like, I think
I'm
about
more
it all
like
the time.
driving over the Gervais Street
Yeah.
Bridge. Like, wish that billboard wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah, but it makes you, I feel like I look at all of them, as many as I can.
Yeah.
Some I
Many
like.
as I can.
You guys are the polar opposites. There's
some I like.
and I wish all of them would disappear.
So have y'all been to Clutch Coffee? It's like across from
yes.
Whole Foods.
And they
It's-
have one up here.
Oh, they
we
have
just
one up
drove by
here.
it.
Yeah,
Okay,
but I don't
amazing.
think it's going to make it.
Oh, it's so good.
Is it?
I disagree. Okay.
Really?
I disagree. They have fantastic cold brew. I'm a bit of a Columbia coffee shop connoisseur, so we can talk about this for years. But Clutch has delicious cold brew, great energy drinks if you're into that. I'm not as much. But they had a giant, I noticed this yesterday, giant billboard over one of their drive-thrus, the one on Gardner's Ferry. I immediately turned in. I was like, that worked for me.
Really?
I saw their beautiful coffee.
Spoke to you.
Yeah. I was like, it was right
Yeah.
above their business because it's kind of easy to miss. It's just the little, drive-through coffee kiosk. I saw that and I was
Right.
like, and I'm going. But that doesn't work for that's like an
That works
immediate
for Beth. She's a
gratification.
coffee-
No, that's an immediate gratification moment.
Yeah.
Like if you had a
It
giant
is. It
billboard
is.
over, about
And
your
it's, like, right here.
chiropractor
Yeah.
office, like you're not going
Right.
to turn and be like, okay, let's go,
Right,
make an
right.
appointment.
Right.
So I think it's
I don't
sparingly.
love this not to sound negative, but I don't love billboards as much as a strategy because they're not as there's not as much data. Like
Right.
you can't prove exactly. I mean, I think they work because people do read them.
Yeah.
But I love
You can't
social and
track-
digital because
you
you
can't
can
track
track
it, yeah.
so much
Yeah.
data from them.
Tom had a billboard. I think this is where he's going.
It was great.
And
For me.
it was it
'Cause
was
I like looking
expensive,
at 'em.
and it was a billboard
They
of
are
his
expensive.
face.
See, I wasn't the brains back. I wasn't the brains back
It was
then.
literally just a
I was
billboard on
better
Two Notch Road
looking.
of his face. At his website.
No, it
That was
Did you
basically
get good
it.
feedback?
I think we honestly got a person from it, which was
Okay.
cool.
Over
I didn't-
3 years.
Yeah, I wasn't
You
expecting
had it for
mu-
3 years.
No, we didn't have it for 3 years. He probably remembered it from 3 years
oh,
ago.
oh,
It was
okay,
like,
okay.
Oh,
He was
I
like,
remember seeing you.
that.
on
I want that.
You're the guy in the billboard.
Right. I want
Let me
that
come in.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, you did get a lot of people that say, "Oh, you're the guy
they saw
on the
it.
billboard."
There were a lot of people patients especially. So I felt like it gave him like, oh, let me go tell my friend.
Okay.
Maybe like,
Maybe it built a
7
little bit of
maybe.
loyalty, like
was planting
familiarity.
seeds. There were a lot of-
Familiarity is good.
I think
was
he wants to
spreading
know
my
it was worth the cost. So
Yes.
he's like telling himself this.
I spread my seed all over with that because
love it.
everybody that walked by thought they're picking up a little seed and they're putting it out in the community.
Yep.
There
You
One
got to
grew.
plant
7
it. Some
touch
of the
points.
seeds
That's
land
what
in
billboard
fertile
seeds.
soil. Some
Yeah.
of them land on the
Uh-huh.
rocks.
One of those
That's
seeds
right.
grew out of the 4,000 people that saw it.
Do y'all do much print advertising? Like, are you in any local locations?
We haven't done
that?
any of that.
I
Right?
want to, but
Do you want to though?
I think so.
What would we print in? Newspapers?
I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, you guys are anti.
Oh.
That's because you guys are digital.
Stay away
though.
from.
You guys don't even use
making
whiteboards.
Anything else?
So
but-
something comes in your mailbox, you look at it,
yeah.
right?
Okay, so
Sometimes.
grand openings. I think grand openings with the promo. I think mail can do really well. I don't know. My opinion about direct mail is slightly changing because I think it's like the opposite. Like everybody hated it for a while and was like,
Yes.
I'm not doing
Now they
it.
want it.
And now they kind of do
Now it's
it.
different. You're like, oh.
My husband does campaigns, and so that is what changed my mind on everything.
Like political campaigns? Really?
And I was like, why are we spending so much money doing direct mail? Like, this is
Yeah.
crazy. And I swear I stood at one of the election booths like for 12 hours one Saturday. And people were like, you know, like I was a fan of this
Yeah.
person, but then I got this mail piece. And I was like, no freaking way. Like,
That's
it
wild.
blew my mind how many people talked about the
Yeah.
things
The
they
mailer.
got in the mails. Yeah.
I guess we're gonna have to start offering direct mail.
I know.
We actually did do that one
It
time.
is
for a
different.
client.
Political campaigns,
we did do
I
a
do
direct
think are
mailer one
different.
time.
But we did do direct mail. Yeah, we did for a.
I can't even remember who it was for.
It was for a restaurant that was starting to offer brunch. So I think announcements like that I think are good.
For sure.
Events.
It's
Yeah.
the only way to get a person to see something that's outside of their logarithm.
No.
Well,
Algorithm. My goodness.
I know. I don't know why I think it's logarithm. Does that mean something different?
Yeah, it's a math. It's a math logarithm.
Right.
Is a
Oh,
math
that's
term.
what. Yes. So you be sure that it's
I'm
algorithm
100%
and not
algorithm.
logarithm.
I'll go.
Yeah. All right.
It's okay.
But sometimes I'll see something that I would, because everything is so targeted to me based on what I like
Correct.
Yeah.
in every area. Even when I turn on the TV, I'm never going to just watch a television show. Like, I'm going to go to the specific, I'm going to
Yeah.
go watch Suits for the 5th time, or
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
whatever. But it's, and same with social media, same with email. Like, anything that I don't want to see, I
Just
block
delete
it.
it. Yeah.
But mail's the only thing that I might come home and it's sitting on the counter and I'm like, what is this?
Right. I don't want this. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a really good point.
But he gets a lot of men's Speedo ads, just guys shirtless in Speedos. Is that weird? Like, what do you think is weird? His logarithm is
The male
Presenting
logarithm.
him.
yeah, and he gets mailers with that.
Dude, it's
just
funny that
Is that
you
an
brought
avenue
that
you're
up.
trying to get
A
into?
repeat
Like as an
buyer.
influencer?
Well, so here's what I was thinking in my head. I haven't brought this up, but I was thinking, have you ever gone into someone's social media platform to take over and help them with
Homepage.
it? And you pull it up and it's just dudes in Speedos.
Very interesting.
Their whole
Not
explore page
yet.
is dudes in Speedos.
Not yet. Not yet. But it is interesting to kind of see, like, if someone prior was running a social media
I feel
page.
like there has
like,
been one.
it was
that
great.
you're forgetting about that. There was somebody running it, and it was an independent person, and I could tell what this
That they were
person
searching
he
on
liked
that.
to follow. Yeah.
Yep.
The funniest too is like the kind of controversial political pages some businesses will follow, and I'm like, we need to follow this, unfollow this immediately.
Right.
Like this cannot
We do a lot
be
of
associated with your
unfollowing.
business.
Yeah, we do a lot of unfollowing.
Say you follow somebody. How quickly can you unfollow them and still try to maintain their follow?
Oh,
Yes.
we
you've
don't
done-
want to do that.
You don't
Yeah,
want to
It
do
sounds
we don't
like
wanna
you've
do
done
that.
this.
No, I haven't. But I feel
It
like
used to be a
people
strategy.
follow
People
me
do
to
it.
get me to follow.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I think maybe they're just doing this for me to follow them,
them.
and they're zapping out of there.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That
real.
happens, right?
Oh, for sure. That was like one of the biggest ways to grow a brand new account when it was, again, all about follows. Like 5-6 years ago, was just to go and
Follow
like
everybody.
follow
Follow
500
everyone.
people.
Then go
and
in.
at the time, I don't even think Instagram limited like the number of follows you could do, because now
When it
it'll
first
like
started,
lock
yeah.
you out if you
Oh,
follow
really?
100 people at a time. It'll say you've done this too much, and it will stop you from doing it for 24 hours.
It'll ban your account. Yeah.
Yeah. But back in the day when you were trying to grow an
taking
account,
notes. He's like, don't follow.
when you were trying to grow an account,
Skip that strategy.
but yeah, back in the day when you were trying to grow an account quick, that's kind of like, I mean, I did that.
Yeah, no, that was
So
that
you were
was a
just
very real
you were
thing.
unfollowing people a lot.
Not well, yes. So yeah, no. Sometimes I worked.
and
So
unfollow.
when I worked for someone else running a social media account, and I had to do what they told me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the things that we did was follow and then unfollow.
Yeah. What did you guys do prior to Spruce Strategies? We didn't even talk about that.
You go
man.
first.
Work at Mickey D's.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever work at Mickey D's?
No.
Any fast food?
I worked at Firehouse Subs.
Nice.
Also in high
Deli
school.
meats.
I've had a lot of jobs.
Yes.
Plex,
We both
deli
had a lot of
meats.
weird
Yeah.
ass jobs.
The two main things, I worked for the State House for a little while in like government relations, which is kind of like, I think about it now, I'm like, there was a lot of like sales in that at
Yep.
the time.
Schmoozing.
And then I studied marketing and design, so I went back to that. I worked for
Fashion?
the Free Times, actually. Fashion? No, I never worked in fashion. But yeah, I worked for the Free Times with their
Marketing stuff.
Yeah, I was their marketing manager for a little while.
I think there's a show on Netflix where there's a political character that looks just like you. Do you know who I'm thinking?
No.
No,
Now I would love to
a
know
show
who
on
this
Netflix.
is.
I don't remember it right now.
Suits?
I'll think of it. I'll send it to you.
Meghan Markle.
Yeah, please.
I feel like yes, I know exactly who you're talking
But the political thing is interesting because it seems like a hard, polarizing job.
It does, except when you're on the lobby or the staff side, which are the two areas that I was.
I don't know. Do you know what that means?
Not necessarily, but I'm going to pretend like I do.
Yeah, Tom knows.
I
but
stay silent.
just
You
for-
have to
just
stay-
for
If I
don't
me
know, I stay
explaining.
silent.
You
God,
learn to stay pretty. You learn to just build relationships with everybody.
Both sides.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
and you're an
That's what we need-
educator.
That's
yeah.
what we need more of.
Is your husband in politics?
Yeah, he is.
Is he? So he's a like either conservative, Democrat, whatever. do you find it hard?
She's
All
first
of
to
the
your
above.
left. She
Well, and,
loves, she
and you
loves
could
where
say
this
if
is
you
going.
don't want, it doesn't matter. My question's more.
Kelsey, the secret's
He's
out
running
now.
in November. I'm just kidding.
My question is, do you find people like, are you friends with anybody on the other side, and how hard is that friendship?
Oh my gosh, I think that would be the biggest surprise that everybody, biggest surprise to everybody is how, everybody's friends. It's like you're all coworkers, and yes, you
in
have.
politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Understandable.
sure, for sure. But I'm
Did I
saying,
misunderstand your question?
I'm saying like your personal friends.
Oh,
Like, say you're like, I don't. Is your husband? Well,
you
do
can
you
ask.
want to
I
say?
don't- Yeah,
Is
I
he
don't care.
conservative or a Democrat?
Yeah, he's a Republican for
Republican, that's-
West Columbia.
Okay. So say you have a ton of like really far left friends, you personally, girls
Yeah,
from high school maybe.
yeah.
Like, is it hard because your husband's so opposite?
Oh no, it wouldn't.
Doesn't come
It
up.
wouldn't be. I mean, every now and then,
Like
conversations come up, but it doesn't affect whether. they're
Gotcha.
friends. I do think people tend to hang out with people that have the
Yeah.
same values,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't think it really
Okay.
affects a lot. Yeah, I think a lot of people are. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really affect.
He's
it.
also
love that
not
we're
like a
get- we're
super polarizing individual who is, saying
Posting wild stuff.
no. I mean, he
Yeah.
does post wild stuff.
Oh,
If you want to
nice.
follow him on Twitter,
Maybe I'll follow
very
him.
funny.
You think he'll follow me back?
He probably
Tell him
would.
to.
Yeah,
probably
You can
would.
send him
Probably
good,
would.
I'll tell him
good
to.
daiquiri
tell him I'll-
recipes. And
Yeah, if he's into fruity drinks, I like that.
Oh my God, he was gonna die. That we talked about that.
It's his brands.
Yeah, I think. But to your point, I think that social media makes it seem more polarizing than it actually is.
Definitely.
And I think you get more views and clicks if you're more polarizing. So the people who are,
There's people who
You see
that's
them
their
more.
strategy.
It is. Yeah.
Right.
but in real life, it's very rare that you're fighting with somebody about something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, back to the clients you've talked about, we have people polarizing people out. People feel like they can say anything online, right? And so we have to be very careful. I think maybe that has translated into social media because when you are representing a business, you have to learn how to communicate in a very non-polarizing way.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
these are the facts. This
Yeah.
is happening and this
And
is
that's
an event
hard.
that's happening.
That can
Yeah.
be hard.
For sure. What I love about our podcast, like we like just getting perspectives from all over the map.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we were talking about that on the car ride the other day. I was like, man, it's just, we've had such a diverse group of people, and you don't get that opportunity a lot to just talk to people that may not even have anything in common with and just see their side of things.
Yeah.
Now, Beth, where did you work?
Okay, so during college, I did like every single marketing internship that I could, like right away. Like summer after freshman year, I started interning at Flock and Rally, very popular, well-established marketing agency here. That is kind of where I dipped my toe into the Columbia scene because I grew up in Atlanta, came here. And similarly to a lot of people who come here for school, I'm like, oh, like what's going on here? Like this is just a smaller city. This isn't what I'm used to. Columbia's boring, what have you. Flock and Rally back in the day was putting on the free times parties every year because they used to do events. So
You guys act like you didn't know all about the free time parties, but you
There is
guys,
some-
I know.
you guys
Like I've been going to
you
free
were
times
so
parties
deep
since
in that party.
2012. Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of actually where I like got to know everything that was going on in Columbia. Was working for
Right.
them, doing PR and all that kind of stuff. So they're absolutely fantastic, and I'm so grateful for that experience because it really did open my eyes to like all the cool people that are here in Columbia trying to make things happen. So anyways, worked for them. I worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield doing in-house donations and marketing. I worked for DISA. They support like through grants from Richland County minority-based businesses, like helping out with their website, social media marketing. Worked with them. I worked at La Roque, the boutique on Divine Street.
Nice.
So that was my like retail side. And then post grad, after all those internships, I followed my now husband out to Dallas Fort Worth, working at a bigger now at the time, I'd say they were more like a startup, but a marketing agency that did paid advertising. So I worked in paid social media, which is totally different from what I do now, but on a much larger scale. So like any Facebook, Instagram ads you would see, I worked under the brand's Mind Body, where you can book your classes and everything, and Madewell, which is like a J. Crew affiliate, Madewell J. Crew, and Beats by Dre, the headphones.
Yeah.
So we placed their ads, and at that time, like we were even placing ads on Snapchat. Like Snapchat was still like popping off, so we worked with them. But that involved sitting in spreadsheets all day, kind of seeing trends and like what creative was performing, what wasn't performing. But I wasn't designing any of the creative, because they weren't in a creative agency. We were just placing the ads and optimizing them for performance. And I was like, I do not want to do this. It's not my thing. I love writing. I love strategizing. I love looking at the creative and the whole puzzle, and working with smaller businesses, especially. So we actually moved back to Columbia we were only in Texas for a year, 2017. I really missed Columbia and just the smaller, like growing city, like that wasn't super commercialized and oversaturated, which is what Dallas is. And so we actually came back here, and I was like instantly soothed. Like my brain was like, this is exactly where I need to be.
It felt like very ground floor at that time.
Yes. Yeah. It was like it was like you could do anything, like coming back in Columbia. So moved back here, worked kind of in an interim job for a second. And then a company out of Greenville was opening up here in Columbia. And I was on the 3-person team that brought Cola Today to Columbia.
Wow.
I like posted their very first Instagram post back in like 2017, and worked on that every day for 2 years, with one of my now current good friends. But it was literally a 3-person team, and probably still is, that puts out the newsletter every day and the social media. So we were like market number 2 for them. I think now they're in like 25 cities. But it was very much like flying by the seat of our pants, figuring out what works and not. And back then you could really grow an Instagram following. So we grew from 0 to 30K in a very short amount of time. And that was like a super exhausting, exciting job that I did. But after working there, that was not sustainable, because that was a grind. I mean, it was 2 people putting out all that content. I knew I wanted to work for myself, and I knew I wanted to do social media marketing, because again, I was meeting all these local businesses through that. Saw the need for people who just needed a social media presence. And because I was also seeing all these results that Cola Today was getting for people. And so when I left, Kelsey and I kind of met up for coffee, realized we were trying to do the same thing, got it in some projects, and Spruce was born.
Why Spruce? Why that name? Just to spruce things up?
Yes.
To spruce things up.
Yep.
So
Yes. There's
We like the color green.
Lot. So we like the color green. We like the tree. I went to art school, so everything I did used to have to kind of have this whole concept behind it. And I was like, all these things. So yes, conceptually, a spruce tree is the fastest growing tree. Oh. It's also used to be used to heal things. So I was like, that can be relatable for marketing and social. So
And for any business owner.
And it was also available on Instagram, GoDaddy, and all the places.
Yeah.
Is that so? I was wondering about that. What other creative outlets do you guys have? So you paint, or you were, or like draw? Like what?
I was like, have you been to my house?
No, you said you went to art school.
I did. Went to design,
design.
graphic design school. Yeah, for fun every now and then. Yes,
you dabble.
I dabble. That was like COVID hobby. But yeah, I haven't. I graduated with graphic design, and it quickly realized that's not what I wanted to do. But it's been a massive resource. All the things that I learned and the fundamentals and that kind of thing through social.
She doesn't let me post any graphics without running them through her first.
Gotcha.
Smart. We have a small team, but
she's our in-house graphic
creative.
go-to.
Yep. I don't decorate anything ever.
There's
It
rules.
always goes to Tom.
Has to.
Yeah. Well, I
So I
appreciate
get
all
that.
the people having.
That's the nice part about having a business partner is you
It
do
is.
different things. And have
I
different
can't.
strengths.
I
I had
really
to dress
can't
him for a
imagine.
while.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was.
I ended
We're
up just
still
going all
working
black
We're
all the
working
time.
through it, but
Yeah.
there was a lot.
I get it.
Must have dressed yourself today.
I did.
He did. It's great.
Oh, hey, cut that part out.
No.
For
But the
anyone
part where she said
listening-
I'm good looking,
Yeah, no.
let's put that on loop.
For anyone
That little
listening,
ding thing.
he's wearing a shirt that says podcast host.
Yeah.
So easy to know who he is.
I forgot
Right.
my podcast guest shirt today.
It's too aggressive. Does it feel too aggressive?
No, it's
Just
just the
tacky.
right
No,
amount.
they feels
Just the
tacky.
right
Helpful to
amount.
know.
Yeah, they were confused. They didn't know what you were.
Right.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
so
have known
that
who to
was-
talk
I didn't
to.
want you guys to think that I was running the social media. I wanted
Yeah.
you to know
Right.
that I
Be
was the
aware.
host.
I would have started talking to you. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Did you guys creep on our websites or social pre coming to the show? And what did you assess? Like, where are we weak? Or
I
where
did
are
not
we
look at your
strong?
website, your social, because I don't look at websites anymore.
Ever.
No, not really.
Just looked at your social. Too.
Yeah, social is very
How deep
strong.
did you guys dive?
Not too deep because I'll get served your podcast a decent amount. The post on your podcast because
They
you have
hit
a lot of
your
our
feed?
friends on.
Yes.
Yeah, you have had a lot of our friends.
Yeah,
Love that.
Yeah. I listened to last night the episode with KB Frings. She's one of our
Yeah.
good friends.
Nice.
yeah.
So that was how I prepped for coming here. As I listened
Nice.
to KP's episode.
Great.
Yeah.
Did you know her first name before she announced
Kanisha,
it?
yeah,
you
I
knew it.
did. I did find that segment funny, and that is she does make everyone guess her name.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is true in meeting her. But no, your social media I think is very well done. You have the unique opportunity of getting footage of people talking and being like capturing them authentically because you're filming them for an hour and a half. So you can, edit down and find the best sound clips.
There's
Yeah, you
no
do.
hiding.
So you're
Good
in the
hooks. Good hooks.
yeah, you're in the best position to get that emotional, part and tie or like the controversial sound bite that you can post. So
Great.
you're doing a great job.
Do y'all
Okay.
ever tease
Thank you.
out who's coming next?
So see, we've thought about that. We just do like a little photo. Now that we're like a couple ahead, so I think we can. For a while, we were
yeah.
like one after another,
Yeah.
and then sometimes the person wouldn't show up.
Oh,
This is back when we weren't the hottest podcast going.
When you weren't number
in
one.
When you weren't-
South
yeah.
Carolina. Yeah.
Labeled.
First, it started with Columbia. Now we're the hottest in South Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, people say a lot of good stuff about us.
That's so great.
But I like the idea of the teaser to get
They
people.
say it's the best.
they
You're
say-
so impressed about that.
Yeah, I really.
Our first show, we were saying that.
Yeah. We had all these acronyms.
We have a whole thing.
We
yeah.
would introduce ourselves as just hottest, best, fastest
Right.
growing.
Yeah,
most
sexiest,
influential.
most influential, most fetch. I think you threw in
Yeah,
there.
fetch.
Right, best social media.
Yes.
Do you guys like Mean Girls? Have you seen it?
Of
Love Mean
course,
Girls.
we're
Yeah.
millennials. Yeah.
Regina George.
Yes.
Do you like her? Did you resonate with her or did you hate her?
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
She's a love-hate relationship.
That's
like,
how it
all
always
of it.
is.
Yeah.
I think back. I wonder if that's still like that in high school.
I think it totally is.
You think so?
Even
Yeah.
worse with social media.
Yeah, I think it's probably
Holy.
worse. Yeah.
That's true.
I'm really glad I don't have a.
I
any
realized
girls.
I think I was a bully in high school, and I didn't know that in high school. Like I think I was. You know what I mean?
Well,
I wasn't
think-
fighting people, but
I
I
think
think
high
I
school guys, their brains aren't fully developed.
right.
I
That's what I
look
think.
back.
Sure, that's
I mean, they're
for sure
definitely
true.
not. Like I hear the stories about my husband in high school, even like beginning of college. And
Oh,
I'm like, we
God.
would never, like I would have never
Yeah.
looked your way.
Yeah.
Like boys are idiots. Teenage boys are dumb.
Tom, there
And
was
I
a
hope-
period where Tom was telling people don't ever date anyone under 35.
Yeah.
Any guy.
Man,
They
they
don't
need
have their
time.
brain
Yeah.
functional.
Time.
Yeah.
The track record was rough. Like, just it's cool to like look back on that now. that we're
So
all
yeah.
more mature.
We're so mature.
But we still hold on to a piece of that just in case we need to let it loose. Like at Free Times, there was a
Yeah.
litll piece of that came out.
Right. It's still in you.
Stealing people's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still in
hats.
I want
you.
people to
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
in case you need it.
Love that.
All right. I
Were
had-
we
Are
better?
the jean shorts from high school?
No, good story on those. So when my wife was birthing our child, I packed a whole dad bag.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And so I had to buy, I was like, oh yeah, I need jean shorts.
Need the
I had the New
shorts.
Balances. So my go bag was just a whole dad outfit, number one dad shirt,
Amazing.
cut a mustache in.
So you like packed that on your own will and accord. Like
Yeah,
it
oh,
wasn't
yeah.
like her telling you.
Yeah.
To. Oh, that's so
Yeah,
nice.
it was great.
Yeah.
She enjoyed it.
His wife had to pack all her own stuff.
And the baby.
She carried her
But
bag.
you were ready.
But you
on
were
your-
ready.
I was ready.
Yeah, you were gonna
I
show
was like,
up.
what are
And
you
she was
doing?
ready or not.
Transformation is complete.
What are you doing? Okay. Any bad blood in the marketing space in Columbia? Because what we're finding, we interview everybody, right? There are things happening in industries that people don't like. This person was on the show, and then like their enemies on the show.
Oh.
Yeah. Gym space, aesthetics,
I have heard there's a lot of in the gym.
Those two specifically, I would have guessed.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
I would have
Marketing.
guessed that. Yeah, marketing. No, because everyone's doing such different things in marketing. Like we're only focusing on service-based
nobody's-
businesses. We're not going after the same clients as anyone else. Whereas that's not the case.
And
for
when we
gyms and med
when we
spas
got
and-
started, we had agencies. I'll just go ahead and say it. Like Flock and Rally was the most supportive.
Oh, I was going to ask about them.
I cannot say enough good things about them. They were so supportive and like anything you need, like while you're getting started, we remember what it was like then. Like we're here to help if you need any advice
That's when
or
you
whatever.
know you made it.
But that also changed my perspective because I was like, wow, I want to be like that
Yeah.
to other people
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah, it's good.
And we'll refer out. I mean, if we get a client that we don't think is a good, fit for us, we'll refer them out to other people, freelancers. There's social media managers that are, kind of freelance and doing their own thing locally. And they do a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes we phase out a client and we'll phase them out to like a social media manager because that client's now equipped to be able to,
Yeah.
do that.
pass it along if it's not
yeah.
a good fit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and we're good with that. But there's some great, smaller firms and individuals who run social media accounts, City Social. Some of our friends, Lynn Luck, she runs social media accounts. But everyone has their own specialty and what they're good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what's great about kind of where we're growing is, I guess in the past few months, all of our clients haven't even been here in Columbia. We
Going
love
out, yeah.
working with clients here, but the nature of social is you can really run it through anywhere. So we've been able to get some clients from new markets, which was one of our goals.
Nice.
I'd say a couple years ago when we were working with all Columbia clients, because that pushes you. It definitely pushes you. So
Do you guys read books?
Yeah.
What kind of books are you into?
I will read like one chapter every 3 months because I have a toddler and a newborn. So not a lot of reading going on here.
No.
It's more of a new thing for me. I used to be this is so cheesy, and you're
God.
gonna laugh and be
I'm
like,
nervous.
I used to be so into like personal development books.
Oh, yeah, she
great.
was.
Like-
You
No,
were.
that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was.
What were you embarrassed about with that?
Yeah,
That's
I thought you were
great.
gonna say like
No.
hardcore
Oh my
romance
God.
books.
I thought it was gonna. Yeah, very
well,
weird.
I'm trying. I'm switching. No, I'm trying to get more into like novels and stuff. I think
Yeah.
that is like a good brain
It's a slippery slope.
turn off. I think it is.
Be careful
too.
who's recommending you books in the fantasy world.
Okay. Well, do you have any recommendations?
Are you an
Puck
you
me
like
sideways?
tour guy? Like
Is that
the
what- is that
Choir
what-
of
is that where
Thorny
this is
Roses? Are you
going?
into all
No,
that?
I don't read any of that stuff.
Okay.
I think if it's going to be if it's not like personal growth, I think watch a movie. I'm not going to read a book about like,
Interesting.
Okay.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'd
Yeah.
rather my brain just shut off and like, here's dragons.
I have a really
flying
hard
and
time when I
hooking up with women.
get. I know.
Like, weird
I
shit has happened
I
in these
did,
books.
I did read what is it, the Iron Flame, whatever that series is,
Yeah.
the fantasy series. Because I am like I do like fantasy. I do like reading when I have the time. I just never have the time. Or when I get like a 30-minute time window, it's really hard to put my phone down and not scroll through reels and spend it like that.
Right.
Especially if I get a client notification pop up. To be able to separate like work and home life is very hard when you work in social media.
When it's all on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a habit that I'm trying to break.
Right.
Some people do audiobooks. Like
Yeah.
I like, podcast
Paper. I'm a
or paper. Yeah.
Audio. I've been into audiobooks lately since Spotify. I mean, we always have like one Audible book that we read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Chandler from Friends. What's his name? Is it
Oh yeah, Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry.
Yeah.
That one was wild.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
listening to
I had a
that.
friend listen to that and recommend that one. I do love biographies. My husband's slowly, again, this is like we're a year in here, but it's a very long book, Elon Musk's biography.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I
Really
haven't heard
good.
that.
And he's really into that right now.
Matthew
McConaughey. Yeah, his
Yeah.
was good. I read
That was a good
one.
book.
Or listened to it.
Yep.
Listen to it. Love it. Love it.
I like it when the author is still alive.
Yeah.
And is
And
actually the
reads it.
one telling you.
Yeah.
Someone just told me that Prince
Harry's, yeah.
his was so good because he was the one like telling you the stories that he'd written about.
Yeah.
I think that's really
It's
cool.
almost like you're sitting down with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. His was fantastic.
That's nice.
Fantastic Audible. I wanted to turn around and ask you guys, what podcast are y'all listening to?
Ooh, nice. I listen to Dropping Bombs by
Okay.
Bradley.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I do listen to that too sometimes. he's just a little too much sometimes, though.
I think he reminds me of me. That's why. I
Yeah,
like it.
you listen, and you only listen to 7 minutes at a time.
I can't even remember. Like I have to rewatch. I do these again.
Yeah.
To like help with clips. So there's not a ton more time that I'm
In the day,
listening
yeah.
to stuff.
Listening, but don't you think you could draw some good inspiration for this, like
For sure.
from other people's?
Yeah.
I listen a ton. I listen to Modern Wisdom.
Oh, Theo Vaughn. Theo
Oh, Theo Vaughn, yeah.
Vaughn,
My
that's
husband
great.
loves Theo
Yeah.
Vaughn.
His recent ones have been great.
He's getting big names.
So good.
He's just a
Wild,
hilarious
like,
guy with a mullet saying
wild,
funny things.
right.
Wild stuff. Yeah.
Call Her Daddy. Don't you listen to that one?
I don't listen to that one,
I love
but
that one.
I did when
love
Portnoy
Alex.
was going crazy on them. I did kind of get into that world a little bit. Sophia
Easy
with
to
an
get sucked
F,
in.
isn't
She
it?
does a good job.
Yeah.
I listen to Joe Rogan quite a bit.
So does my husband. Yeah.
I just love the idea that he has like every spectrum. He'll
Everyone,
have
yeah.
like the comedian who's had 18 beers, and he'll have a neuroscientist, and he'll
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
political people from the left and the right and
Right.
the middle and everywhere in between, and he'll have like it's so wild the
It
different
is.
things that I feel, and I think he has access to anybody
Yeah.
on any topic, so he doesn't have to choose somebody because they're available. He chooses
Right.
anybody that he
Anyone.
wants.
Yeah.
I
that's
didn't
totally
realize his
true.
podcasts were like 3 hours
So long. That's what's hard.
We went on a road trip and we're talking about what to listen to, and we're like, well, let's just put on the Rogan one, thinking it would be like a portion of it. Like we are 3 hours
And
into
we
this
haven't spoke.
podcast.
It goes by so
You didn't even
fast, though.
speak
I
to your
know.
husband.
They're so. I'm just like, has he been talking for 3 hours?
Is he still going?
He's still talking.
You know what podcast I used to listen to frequently, and that this is where I was getting my news, is the Daily.
Oh, it's
I
so
did
good.
really
Yeah.
enjoy that one because that was
a
also it's
quick-
like it's like a commute worth. It's like they're 20
You
to
get your
30 minute
updates for the
episodes.
day.
So
Yeah.
I enjoyed listening to that. Again, I just do not have time now. It's like Coco Melon and Bluey in the car.
Right.
So
Oh,
yeah,
I like it when companies have podcasts too, like on EOS entrepreneurial operating system. They had some really good ones. So it'd be
Okay, good to
if you
know.
were
Quick
within there,
strategy.
then you could choose what role you play, and there's just podcasts all about it.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or like Dave Ramsey has the Entree Leadership side, so
Yeah.
it's specifically for businesses. I'm trying to think otherwise, but I go deep down the rabbit hole on podcasts.
Yeah.
Once I get into it,
Yeah, same.
I'll listen to 50
same.
in a row.
I'll listen to some weird shit. I do.
We're clipping
So I'm really
that.
my favorite.
That'll be a
Definitely
clip,
clipping that.
and that's all it's gonna
Yeah.
say.
Listen to some
Off
weird
the
shit.
record. No, I'm kidding. My favorite social media platform currently, well, for the past few years, is Reddit. Because again, it's
Really?
like there's some weird stuff on Reddit, and you can
I've
get
never
really.
gone on there.
Oh, we've
into
never
your
even considered it.
Oh, you
yeah.
can get into your weirdest like interest and most random interest on Reddit.
Yeah.
So specifically, I went down like a rabbit hole a couple years ago with the Duggar family. And like fundamentalist,
Do you know who this-
No.
do you know who
No
fundamentalist
clue.
Christian, IBLP,
Oh.
all of that. I mean, it's
18
fascinating.
kids?
It's like a 19.
19.
Wow.
It's like basically a cult and like looking.
Yeah.
So they just had a documentary come out on Prime Video last year that was like unveiling a lot of like the really dark like things that were happening going on there. But there is a Duggar Snark uncensored like community on Reddit that's
my God.
like.
Jeez.
It's wild. So whenever any like new news of the family drops, I mean, it's basically this like wholesome Christian fundamentalist family that completely unraveled, and like their like shiny happy people image just had so many dark things going on under the surface. So there's this very dedicated community of us on Reddit.
You're posting.
Yes, I don't post. I'm just a
Like,
lurker.
what's your username?
Yeah,
Beth?
Yeah, I don't have one.
the
I'm
leader
just a
of the
lurker.
Southeast Division
Yeah,
of this.
that's how I shut my brain off at night. I just check my Reddit before I go to bed, and
Yeah, I like a lot of funny shit. And then
Yeah.
most of them just clipping on Instagram podcast stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I do like watching the clips now. That's a whole other thing too, is the video podcast.
Do you guys have friends that like the only way you keep in touch is just sharing funny
Oh, yeah.
memes back and
Yes.
forth,
Yeah.
right? Reels,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I send the most ridiculous stuff to certain friends. Like it's just
right?
that it makes zero sense. And
Yeah.
why they even make some of these things. I'm trying to think of a recent one. Yeah, I don't know. I'll put you guys on the list if you want some of those.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just
Put us
hit
on
you.
the list.
Yeah.
I'll ding you with a
Send
few
it to
that I
us.
find.
Love that. Blow up our. And we need more DMs. We don't get
Not enough.
Yeah, I don't have enough notifications to check already. So definitely just send me some shit.
Random.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So say you're working with a company. How does one break up with you guys?
There's been many different methods.
Oh, yeah. I'm like,
A lot of breakups.
Through DM. Just fire it.
Yeah.
Fire it,
It's
DM.
not you, it's me.
Yeah. The worst is then we have to figure out how to break up with someone else, I would say.
just had to do that for the first time. Was not fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Most of the time, I would say if it happens,
Email?
it is that it's usually email.
Feels safe.
Logistically,
Feels right.
yeah. And it's usually like they like take any kind of personal element out of it and they're like, I was reading over our contractual agreement and blah, 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 blah. So
God.
yeah, that's usually
right.
how it goes.
Yeah.
But it's also like when you've been doing it for 6 years, you kind of just know the like ebb and flow
Yeah.
of different, like how
Yep.
that works, the cycle of everything.
Did we finish talking about what the one package was? I don't even think we did. What is the one package you guys do?
I think we just talked about like in an industry that's kind of new and not a lot of people understand. We talked about how we try and simplify it and just offer people one thing. But yeah, it's basically we come in and ask for hands off on social. We manage everything from the initial strategy. We usually work with a marketing person, see if we can like supplement what you're already doing strategy wise and kind of build on that messaging wise and then learn about your goals. We post 3 to 7 times per week, depending on the client and what we're doing. And then, we cover everything from like responding to DMs.
Nice.
We asked for hands
Engagement.
off. Like we don't want you also
Yeah, like what if Randy's in there?
throwing that
Hey,
is
post
I
this
know.
photo.
I would
of
want to
me.
get in there and be like, oh, I got to.
no.
I got to add something in
we,
here.
We have
Stories,
Feeling a little
anything.
too serious.
We have to cut clients
It's-
off for sure.
Really?
We just
Yeah.
ask, in that case, we're just like, send it to Beth
Send it to
and
us,
Beth will do it.
and then we'll
Yeah.
do it.
Oh,
We'll
hey, Beth, I have
filter
this
it.
great idea.
I'm in a
Yeah.
tank top. I just got out of the shower. I'm in a tank top.
This feels really authentic.
Yeah, I have a good pump.
I mean, we've had like a client out of state, but like their doctor was posting like selfies of his like family vacation to the like the
Business
business
account.
Instagram
yeah.
accounts. And we were like, we need to stop this right now. Like,
Yeah.
we can't have the, tipsy doctor like posting his Mai Tai on,
That's my personal page.
yeah.
Or just
kind
like,
of
right,
is.
they accidentally posted to the wrong
Right.
one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, just go ahead and log out.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my last question. Well, I have 2 questions. One is I want you to tell everyone how to find you, reach out to you if they want to work
Spruce
with you.
up their social
Yeah, if they want to
Spruce.
spruce up. And then also, is there a specific account that we should be following that I might not go about, an Instagram account might not know about?
That tells us about trends.
Well, not necessarily that, just something that you think I would like.
Okay.
Like I'm always in the mood in person, not in the mood. I'm always interested in person finding out about a social media thing.
Okay.
I don't even know what that means. Do you guys know what any of that means?
I just feel like I have follow-up
I
questions.
know the first.
So what, actually, now
So how
I'm
to
distracted.
find you?
What was
I know
the first one?
how to find you guys was the first one. I feel
That's
like
a good
that
one.
one's a good one.
Easy.
to
My
answer, yeah.
Some of my favorite Instagram accounts are when somebody comes up to me and says, "You got to go follow this."
Front
account."
Porch Dad.
And then they tell us, yes, Front Porch Dad's a perfect example. We'll talk about it in a group, and then I'll be like, I got to find this guy. And then I follow it. It's amazing.
I feel like there's some really. You probably already follow like golf pros. There's all this
yeah.
like golf comedy.
Yeah.
There's a
I mean,
lot
like,
of,
you would-
yeah. Bob Mannery was another one who was huge for a long time.
Okay. Do you follow Ilona Mar? Do you know who that
No.
is from the Olympics?
No, is that good?
She is like
I'll find
my
her.
new favorite person.
How do you spell her name?
Yeah, I can't spell that. No way.
Ilona Mar. She was the female rugby.
Oh, I've heard of her. Yeah.
Oh,
But
there
she's
we go.
hysterical. Just
She's good?
like yeah, she's hysterical.
What is it?
I don't
what
think I followed
letter?
this
Is it
before.
start with an A?
It's ILONA.
I.
MAHR.
Yep.
Maybe.
She's got 3.8 million followers.
She blew up. She was
She
just
didn't have that
hysterical
before the
over the
Olympics.
Olympics, and everybody was like following her. But she's just a funny character.
I feel like
Where do we
she's
find
really,
She's like
she's
athlete.
so strong.
She's so strong. I know.
Who is your best? Hold on, I want to follow up question. Who's your best local follow?
Yeah.
Mine. Who do I like see post stuff?
Is it like a business
Or person?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Who do I don't even know. Is there a way to find out how many people I creep? Is there like a ranking of how often I visit
No.
there? No.
Shit, do you know who I follow in like every single thing that they do is Chaz and Lex Parlor.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
good.
Chaz
They're
Ellis
good.
and Lex
Yeah,
Parlor.
We both go to the
Yeah.
see them.
Do you?
Yeah, we
They're-
love them.
They're good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
really
always
good.
just
They
having
can
a lot
do
of
no
fun.
wrong. Yeah, they can do no
They're
wrong.
amazing. Yeah, they're fun too.
That's a really good answer.
Gosh, I can't think of people that I'm like look forward to seeing besides our stuff.
Yeah.
Columbia Family
He
Chiropractic.
likes seeing his own face.
Columbia Family
Actually, that
Chiropractic,
is a good
here
point.
for the
I
health
like
of it.
seeing our own stuff.
That's a good answer. Plug yourself.
Spruce Strategies. Studio Fire's pretty good. I like watching
Yeah,
Studio
they're
Fire.
great.
Their
Yeah.
stuff pops up.
They're also varied to their brands.
EQ Fitness, another one like
Yeah, they
a lot
do a
of fitness
fantastic
stuff.
job.
F45.
I do like watching fitness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say those are the ones
It's like,
locally.
did I just work out?
Right.
From
Yeah,
watching you
from
work
watching
out?
you.
Maybe.
Right. Do I
Yeah.
look like that
I
when
feel
I
more
work
fit.
out?
Yeah, I feel more fit.
Yeah.
Just watching someone else work out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
All right, tell everyone how to find you. How do you want them to reach out to you if they want to
Personal
work with
cells.
Yeah, like
Home
Yeah.
address.
you want to give out your personal
Our
cell phone
emails
number?
are really easy. It's just Kelsey at Spruce Strategies and Beth at Spruce Strategies.
Oh,
And
that's
then
great.
Nice.
our
Wow, great. Great
And your
stuff.
website,
website,
sprucestrategies.com.
sprucestrategies.com, and then Instagram is Spruce
No.
Strategies. I'm telling you, when you were asking me about the name, I was like,
that
we
was the
found
priority.
It
So good.
on
We wanted
everything.
Yep. We wanted the direct.
Is the story
Fines.
about the spruce tree on your website? Do you have a website? Or you
Yes,
said
we
not-
yeah.
do.
It's
We
not
do.
on the website.
Not on
Get
the
that
website.
up there.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we should put
I
it
think you
there.
need the story about the tree and the growth and the healing.
Maybe we'll just do a talking head on our Instagram of you,
Yes.
Kelsey, explaining
Yes,
the
greens.
backgrounds. Yeah, we can
Put
do it
some
around
dollars.
Christmas
Wear a
time.
green shirt.
Yeah.
Wear a green shirt.
All right.
We have plenty of branding photos
We
of us in
do.
spruce green.
We do.
Yeah. We can
Yeah.
just whip that out.
Do you guys
there.
have any is it a tree?
It's a tree. It's like a
Do you have a
tree.
spruce tree?
No, no.
We need to get you a tree.
That would be great.
Do they grow here?
Maybe we should get you a tree for the office.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we need a
replace
tree.
that
Maybe that'll
one.
be
Well, that one's got a lot of growth still. It's still growing.
Still going.
We water that one.
Still
lately.
healthy. Yeah. Okay, never mind. We can put it in that corner. Okay, so my follow for a really funny meme account is
that-
openly gay animals.
that one.
If you don't openly gay animals, it's a great
Really
meme
funny.
account. I'd say it's a general, like anyone could follow it and find it funny. It's just a,
That's great.
you, me.
You know what I do
relatable
like to
humor.
watch? It's not
Huh.
local. Like animals attacking each other, like
yeah.
fighting each other.
That's not what you're
Yeah.
going to find here.
Yeah. Now that
You might
mention
find
it.
that like on a
that you
safari,
mention
but yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite.
It's fun. It's funny that you can go to that account and then see which of your friends also follow
Yeah,
that
that's my
account.
favorite thing. And it's probably a lot of your friends.
Oh yeah,
I
Shivani
have, like,
Patel's following that.
almost
She
4
probably
million followers.
everything.
she's everywhere.
She does.
She
yeah.
is everywhere.
Yeah, she really is.
All right. Well, this has been great.
Great.
Thank you guys so
Thanks
much.
for having us on.
fun.
I think
Fun.
it's really important to have a podcast here in Columbia. It's part of what is making our city come on the up and up. I'm talking to the people who are doing things here. So thank you guys for what y'all do.
Yes.
You do such a good job.
Thanks.
Here
We're here for the health of it.
for the health of it.